If you're looking for a secure haven within the literary world? You found the perfect organization. Let's make magic together. Our space is specifically designed for African American authors who are passionate about their writings of films and books. It's a platform to stay informed about industry developments. And on Patreon, we'll share exclusive content, valuable resources, and engaging discussions and masterclasses on various subjects, ranging from film and publishing industry trends to wellness and business tips. So if you're ready to dive into this exciting community, become a member now. Welcome to our literary haven where creativity knows no bounds. Let's make magic together.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be with you guys today, teaching this class. I've always said that I love it when people are engaged, when people are chatting with me, and so I just don't want to. I just don't want to talk at you. I want to talk to you. So if you have any comments or questions, just go ahead and drop them in the if you're just go ahead and drop them in there and then I can see them. But today we are going to talk about something that is very near and dear to my heart. And this is how you can win, because as melanated people, I want to see all of us win. I want to see all of us be I want to see all of us be successful. I want to see all of us get ahead. And I just want to make sure that we are all living our best, whole, happy lives. And so this started when I was a child. This is a little system that I created when I was a little girl. This is how I would like write things down and figure out how I wanted to move forward in my life. And over the years, it just evolved into becoming a system that actually works for me. I live a very hectic life. If you don't know who I am, I'm Kimberly Latrice Jones. I am an author, a screenwriter, and a social justice advocate. And I'm also a mom. And I have family members and friends and all these obligations that sometimes for all of us can seem very heavy when we're on our paths to pursue our goals and our dreams and that kind of thing. And so how we bring our best self to the table for anything that we're doing, whether that's parenting, whether that's a romantic relationship, whether that's our career, whether that's our home, everything that we are doing is making sure that we have balance, that we're not giving so much energy to one thing, that we're not giving enough energy to another thing. And so, yeah, this is my system that I use to keep that on track. So each of the areas is an important aspect of our lives. And what I found is that when I'm feeling empty or lost or confused, if I write down these 9 priorities and I investigate where I'm feeling weak or strong in each category, I can see where I'm out of balance. So it's a planning tool that shows you how to move forward in your life, but it also works to diagnose what's out of whack and where I'm not taking care of myself. So the first of the 9 priorities is career. And I know people are like, well, why didn't you do relationships first or something like that that has more spiritual meaning? The reason that I always choose to talk about career first and prioritize it is because if we're all being honest with ourselves, our career, our work life is where we spend the majority of our time. Child, we spend more time working on career and our life goals and work and things like that than we probably do with our families, our children, our spouses, everybody. This is the thing that takes up the most of our time. And unfortunately, living in a capitalistic society, this is where most of our identity lies. Most of who we identify ourselves as, most of how we see ourselves, of how we present ourselves, of how we introduce ourselves is career based. I came on here just now today and I said, hello, my name is Kimberly Latrice Jones. I'm an author, screenwriter, social justice advocate. Our career is our calling card. Our career scopes a lot of the decisions that we make, sometimes where we live, what our friendships are like. All of that is centered around Yeah, all of that is really centered around career. And so that's why I do it first. So let's start with the distinction. For some of you, there's the job you get paid for and may not enjoy it all. And then there's the thing you're passionate about. And so one of the things that, is priority is making that passion and purpose your paycheck. Because if you make your passion and purpose your paycheck, you'll never work a day in your life. Because at the end of the day, what you will be doing is the thing that you would get up and do, even if no one paid you to do it. And so that is where the career piece comes in. So if you do a job that you really really love, that you care about, like say you're a nurse or homemaker, or you work in healthcare or are a teacher or something like that, um then you don't have to worry about turning passion and purpose into a paycheck, because you already have your passion and purpose as your paycheck. But if you are not working within your passion and your purpose, and you want to go ahead and turn that um, into a paycheck, the first thing that I would tell you to do for career is start making small steps. Do not take off huge chunks and bites, because it's in taking off huge chunks and bites that we lose the enthusiasm, we lose the passion, we lose everything that and everything that we need to go on. And it does affect some of the other priorities that we're going to get to later in the presentation. They get heavily affected about by where we are in our career. So if you have a passion and a purpose and you want to turn that into career, the first thing is I tell everybody, sit down and make a thorough list. Well, first, do some research. That is the first thing. Do some research about the career that you want to be into. Here's a lesson that I learned over the course of my 30-year career, is that I have to research my career, my chosen field, my passion, as if though no one is ever going to teach me anything. Which means when I get in a place and position and in front of somebody where I could teach them, where they can give me some game or give me some knowledge, they are going to give me trade secrets that I wouldn't be able to find on Google, that I wouldn't be able to find in a book, that I wouldn't be able to find anywhere else, because I am not asking them about 101. And I'll give you an example. A friend of mine called me the other day. He had a young lady who wants to get into acting. And so he said, Kim, I have this friend of mine. She's sitting here with me right now. And she wants to, she's an actress. He didn't say she wants to get into acting. He said she's an actress. And I told her that I will, he was like, I told her that I will get in touch with my dear friend, Kimberly Latrice Jones, who has had an overall TV deal with Warner Brothers, who has had shows on Bravo, Tubi, Amazon, all these things. And so he calls me. And so when he gets on the phone, I say, okay, great, wonderful. She tells me her name. I say, do you have a headshot? She said, no. I said, do you have a resume? She said, no. I said, well, I'm assuming because you don't have a headshot and resume that you also don't have an agent. She said, no. I said, do you have an Actors Access account? She said, no. I said, have you taken any acting classes? She said, no. I said, well, that's where you need to start. You need to get a headshot, you need to get a resume, and you need to get an Actors Access account. And if you don't have any experience to put on that resume, you need to like really comb through your brain and think about anything that you've done, whether it's a high school play, whether it's a student film with friends, whether it's a short film on YouTube, whatever it is, pull those things together and put that on your actor's resume, get your headshot done, and then get yourself an Actors Access account. Actors Access is a website that uploads auditions and stuff like that. And it's not just independent films, it's also cable broadcast level films. So you're thinking like TV One, sometimes BET, Hallmark, Lifetime, We TV, things like that. They will also, the casting agents will sometimes upload auditions and have opportunities there on Actors Access, and you can submit your audition through Actors Access and all of that stuff. And so it's imperative that every actor, even if they have an agent, that they have an Actors Access account, because sometimes that's where audition reels, when you record yourself doing the audition and upload the reel, that's where they'll ask you for it, is through the Actors Access account. So I said, that's the first step you need to do, is get your headshot, your resume, and your Actors Access account. Yes, it definitely is great for actors to use. And so she was just like, okay, thank you. I said, but you know what? While I have you on the phone, let me say this to you. The fact that I just gave you information that I know is Googleable, right? The fact that I just gave you information that I know is Googleable means that you jumped a step and missed an opportunity. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, if this is something that you want to do, if this is something that you take very serious, before you ask a friend to reach out to me, an executive level person, you should have done all the research and have exhausted all the tools that are at your fingertip to learn about what it is that you want to do. You would have discovered Actors Access with ease with that. Knowing that you needed a headshot and resume, that is like base level 101. If you had taken any type of acting class, you would have learned that already. So you pretty much wasted this like phone a friend, one phone call with me, because I had to give you 101 information that was available to you online. So you got this phone call from a friend, and had you had all that together and had him make this phone call after you did all of that, you would already have had your headshot, your resume, and your Actors Access account. Which means now, when you're having this conversation with me, I would have been able to give you trade secrets, trade information that you wouldn't have been able to find on Google. When she would have said to me, oh yes, I have my headshot, my resume, I have an Actors Access account, great. At the day in which I spoke to her on the phone, a friend of mine who's a casting director had hit me up and told me that they were casting some things. I could have said, great, here is a link to an audition where I know the casting director. Upload your audition. Well, actually, I probably would have told her, before you upload your audition, record it, send it to me. Let me give you some notes to make it better and clean it up. Then upload your audition. And then after you upload your audition, I'm going to reach out to my friend who's casting them and let them know that I am sending you personally and you could get this job. That's one way she could have gotten some trade or insider secret for me, if she had all her ducks in a row with the 101s before she had someone make that phone call to me. Even if an opportunity like that was not available to her, because see, sometimes people mess around and get in their own way. Even if that information was not available at the time, if I didn't have a friend who was casting something at the time that I could have connected her to, the other thing that conversation could have led to is I could have said, great, you have all that stuff. That's absolutely amazing. The next thing that you're going to need to do is get some more. How many credits do you have on that resume? Oh, I have 3 credits. I did 2 short films, and I did a play at my church. Great. You need to beef up that resume. I have some smaller independent productions that I'm working on that I would love to see if there's some place where you could fit. Go ahead and send me your headshot and resume, and we could get that. That's the second way she could have gotten some insider information. A third and final way that I'll use as an example that she could have gotten some insider information is, do you have your headshot, resume, blah, 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 blah. Yes, I have all my things, blah, 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 blah. I've taken my class, blah, 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 all that jazz. And I could have said to her, that's absolutely amazing. So let me give you some tips about how you get in front of the people that matter. First of all, let me make some things clear to you. I don't know if you've been talking to other actors or blah, 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 but who you need to be talking to is casting directors, because that's who's going to get you the jobs that you need to get until you're able to get an agent. Here are some casting directors that I know that do acting classes and acting workshops. You should follow these people on Instagram, Twitter, whatever. And the next time they have some type of acting class, acting workshop, like for example, Raven Drummer, who's a dear friend of mine, who is the head of casting at Tyler Perry Studios. Raven does workshops, classes all the time. I would have given her Raven's information, tell her to follow her Instagram. Listen, get into her class and her workshop. And then that way, the next time she's casting something over there at TPS, you have a rapport with her. You taking her class. You upload the audition. You can slide in her DM, say, Raven, I sent my stuff, all that jazz. That stuff she wouldn't have found on Google. That's stuff that's insider information I would have given to her. But there was no room in the conversation for me to give her that information because she hadn't done the one-on-one. So that's the first lesson that I would say about career. It's the first lesson because it's also the most important lesson about career. If there is something that you want to do, if there's something that you take serious, then you need to do as much research as possible on your own, because then when you get those opportunities where you in the room with executives, you're in the room with people who can make a difference in your life. First of all, when they hear you've got the one-on-ones out of the way, yes, I have all my ducks in a row. Yes, I know how to do a self-tape audition. Yes, I've done these student films. Yes, I know how to do my own makeup if I need to, or whatever the case may be. What they say to themselves is like, okay, this kid is ready. Okay, this kid is ready to go to the next level. Let's see what we can do to help them get some guest spots, some different things, or let me connect you to some agents and some agencies so you can start getting some more work. You put yourself in a position where what a person who has done, keep in mind, when you're talking to executive level people, they have put in work for 10, 20, 30 years. They've done their 10,000 hours of mastery to do what it is. So they, under no circumstance, want to hand over opportunities to someone who is green, who has not done the research, who could potentially embarrass them or have them have egg on their face by putting them in rooms. What they want to hear is this person is a hard worker. This person understands the business. This person knows what it is that they're doing. And to put them in position and give them an opportunity makes sense to me. It's going to be beneficial to us all. I may be discovering the next superstar in doing this because this person's work ethic shows up. Because let me tell you, what I have learned after 30 years in entertainment industry and what I have seen year after year after year after year after year, I have watched hard work beat talent every day. You can be the most talented person in the world, but if you don't work hard, if you don't have it in you to work hard, if you don't do the research, if you don't look like a go-getter, if you're not a self-starter, if you're not a person who takes initiative, if you're not a person that's humble, if you're not a person that understands when you're in the room with giants, the best thing to do is listen and not talk. One of my dear friends always says it's much better to be called up than be asked to sit down. So anything that you want to do, research, research, research. And in doing that research, you'll find out the steps that it's going to take. You'll find out the necessary steps that you need. You'll find out the necessary steps that you need to take in order to do what it is you want to do. And so then the next thing you're going to do is make that long list. You're going to make a very, very long list. Maybe it has somewhere between 20 and 100 things that you need to do in order to get to where you want to be. So let's say you want to be a hotelier. You want to own a hotel one day. Once you do all of the research, you're going to make that long list of 20 to 100 steps from all the books you've read, from all the research you've done, from the workshops you've gone to, from the master classes you've watched online, from the events that you've gone to, from the, you've gotten on your LinkedIn, you've reached out to people who are old hoteliers and asked them, hey, if there's one piece of advice that you would give to me on my journey in owning a hotel, what is it? You're going to make a very long list of a bunch of little small intricate steps, from getting my LLC, getting my EIN, establishing a bank account, blah, 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 all the little details. And then every month you're going to look at that long, big master list, and you're just going to take 2 or 3 things, less than 3 things for sure, 2 to 3 things off of that master list, and you're going to make it your job to do that every month. And you will wake up in a year, and where you started your journey in January and where you finish your journey in December, it will be light years Consistency is key. I mean, let's not forget the story of the rabbit and the hare. It's not always about the speed, but it's most certainly about the consistency. It is definitely about the consistency. And also mentors. Getting mentors in your chosen field, even if you're already in your field. I've been in the entertainment industry for 30 years. I still have mentors. I have people who are further along in the race than I am, that I consult, that I talk to, that I look for opportunities from, all of that kind of stuff, right? And so, you know, here's a key way to get a mentor if you don't have access to someone. Like, I have access to people that I've worked for, and things like that to mentor me. But if you haven't gotten there yet, if you haven't actually gotten into your field yet, I'll tell you one of the best tricks to get a mentor on your career journey. First of all, LinkedIn. I cannot express enough how LinkedIn is a social media app of business. Is where all of business people lie. Is where you should be. All of the information that you need about your business is constantly circulating. You can join lots of groups on LinkedIn where you can get educated information, follow all the trade magazines and stuff for whatever field you're in online. LinkedIn is one of the most slept on resources in terms of networking that is out there. So get yourself a LinkedIn account, get the pro account so you can email people, DM people, all that jazz. Reach out to people on LinkedIn. But here's the key to grabbing a mentor when you're doing a cold email send and you don't know the person, and the person, you haven't established yourself enough where it's beneficial to the person to respond, right? Offer something. Most people in an executive position are constantly getting asked, but they are rarely getting offers. And what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, I know a lot of you who follow this page, who follow AAMBC, are writers, right? And so let's say you are reaching out to our queen, Tamika Newhouse, right? And you want Tamika to mentor you in getting your first book published, right? What is it that you have to offer her that will spark her to be interested in helping you? Because she has an inbox full of asks, but she doesn't have that many offers. So here's an example. Hello, Tamika Newhouse. Well, hello, Tamika Jameson, formerly Newhouse. My name is Lola Falana. I have written a amazing adult romance book that I am trying to get published. I would really like your guidance on how I can get this published. But in exchange for that, I really want to learn how the publishing industry works. I do not know if you're in the market for an intern, but I would be willing to give you 10 hours a week as a unpaid intern in exchange for you consulting me on my book. You think Tamika can't use somebody to give her 10 free work hours every week with all the stuff that she got going on? Then think about the skills that you have that are universal that can be of use to that person, right? Get specific. Dear Tamika Jameson, formerly Newhouse, I would like to give you these 10 free intern hours in exchange for you consulting me on my book. At my day job, I am a project manager. At my day job, I'm a graphic designer. At my day job, I'm a teacher. And I noticed that you do workshops. I have a great experience in writing curriculums. So perhaps, maybe I can help you with writing curriculums for any of your upcoming workshops during that 10 hours. I can also, I'm also an English teacher. I'm a pretty good copy editor. I can copy edit some documents for you. Chances are very low somebody's gonna turn down some free help, especially something that's useful to them. But if you just come with your hand out, and here is everybody I know in every industry I know, from restaurant to entertainment. Here's the one thing you should not show up with that is everybody's pet peeve. Mess with me, I'm gonna make you $1 million. Have you made $1 million before? So where's your track record to show you're gonna make me $1 million? And if you were capable of making that $1 million lock, stock, and barrel on your talent, why haven't you done it on your own? Other people have done it. That's not an incentive. We hear that all the time. That in no way, shape, form, or fashion makes somebody go, okay. It's like, child, you don't get out of my face with that cliche tomfoolery. You sound childish and green. Everybody wants to be around an asset. Nobody wants to be around a liability. So make yourself an asset. Showcase your value. Hey, I may not have value in this book writing thing yet. That's why I need the consultant for you. But where I do have cachet is I'm a graphic designer. I can do some book covers for you for your other authors. I'm a project manager at my day job. If there's any projects that you have coming up, I already got the software. Already got everything. I could get all of your projects, your programs together. Whoop, whoop. Lock, stock, and smoke and barrel. You have showcased that you are a person with value. And baby, a fair exchange is no robbery. I'm going to give A, you going to give B. That's it. That's all. So those are just a few tips about how to get your career on track. Part of why you want to make sure that you have your career on track and that your career is careering the way that you want it to is you also just want to make sure that you are financially stable. This is not about capitalism. This is not about the cliche of everybody get the bag, get the bag, get the bag. It is that we live in a society that is not kind to people in a way that allows them to live healthy and whole lives if they are not financially stable. It is very expensive to be sick if you're not financially stable. The housing market is ballooned. So making sure that your career is tracking to give you financial steps, and we're going to talk about finance in a second, is key, critical. And because unfortunately we live in a society that ties so much of your personhood to what you do, and then that shouldn't be true of your closest confidants, but for the rest of the world, so much of it is tied to what you do. You want to be able to speak proudly about what it is that you do. And you don't have to be an NBA player, a football star, a singer, or a rapper to have a career in which you can function in pride. I have a friend right now who works at the Career Center at the Goodwill, and she talks about it with so much pride because she's helping people go back to work and she's helping people get microloans to start small businesses. And it's something she's passionate about. And so she can speak about it passionately. And people are engaged when she's talking about it because her passion shines through. And this is why I want you to get to the place where your passion and your purpose is your paycheck. Home. I actually listed these in the order in which I want you to focus and prioritize them. Get that career together first, and then that'll make it so that everything else falls into place. And that is why home is second. Home is a big one because it should be your safe space where you can dream and grow and nurture your ideas. Ideally, your home should be your happy oasis away from the world. It doesn't matter if you're living in a converted garage or a mansion. It should be your castle. Coming home to a happy space, a clean space, a space that is a reflection of your identity. When I have bookshelves in every room in my house because I love the written word. It means a lot to me. It's reflective of my personality. I feel home and cozy in my home when I sit on my couch and look at the books, when I sit in my bedroom and I look at the books, when I'm in the office in my house and I look at the books. I go into my son's room and I see the books. At every room in my house has books except for the bathroom and the kitchen, and I think I'm going to change that in the bathroom. I need to put a shelf of books in there too, or at least a basket with some books and magazines in there. Making your home your castle is going to be great because this world is not always fair and it's not always kind, and you need to, like a turtle, you need a place where you can hide in, regenerate, get up, and live to fight another day, right? And so that is going to be a very important step. Now, very soon we're going to talk about relationships, and I want to talk really quickly about how relationships tie in with home, right? So Your home is your oasis, away from the world, which means that the people that are in that home have to bring you peace. You cannot have chaos and calamities in your home and then go out in the world and be successful, because the world is going to world, child. The world is going to be up, it's going to be down, it's going to spin you around. You're going to have good days and bad days. The world in which we live in and the way in which it affects you, affects your mental health, all of that is one of the most inconsistent things in the world. So where do you get to establish that consistency? You get to establish that consistency of peace, of recharge, of regeneration in your home. So if there is a person that is in your home, if there is a person that is in your home that is an agent of chaos, I need you to get to the nearest therapist, the nearest church, go do some journaling, go do whatever you need to do to process how to handle it. But the end result, and again, make a list of the steps you need to do to fix it. The end result of that list needs to be bringing the peace back into your home. Because when you come home and sit on your couch, there should not be tension so thick you can cut it with a knife. And so we're going to talk about this more when we get into relationships, but that is why communication is key, and having a conversation with the people in your home about what your communication system is, a communication system that meets everybody's needs, is going to be key and critical, because again, the only way for that home to be your safe space where you can dream and grow and nurture your ideas is that everybody in that house is on the same page, and that you guys all understand the assignment of that and move and work accordingly. Transportation. Woo! The third, this is the one that people always don't take seriously, but it is important. The third principle of a balanced life is transportation. Some of you live in cities where you don't need a car and have already decided you don't need to think about transportation, but I'm not just talking about having and maintaining a car. Transportation is all about your being able to move the way you need to move. How you need to move will depend on where you are and who you are. This section is about making sure you are organized to meet your own transportation needs. Here's why transportation is so key and critical. Think about, let's go back to career and let's jump forward again to relationships. You notice how relationships are tied into all of this, right? Which is why, backtrack to career real quick, maintaining healthy and good relationships and business and being a person who does good business, and that being your reputation is key and critical, because this notion that we have that part of being a boss is being abrasive and disrespectful and checking people, and that signs of a boss, that is elementary and is not accurate. People do business with people they like. People say it's business is not personal. Business is very personal. Okay, I digress. Back to transportation. A lot of these elements are also going to be affected by transportation, which is why it is the third priority, right? Because let's just say you get an opportunity, it's amazing, somebody hooks you up, they're like, all right, great, okay, so boom, you're going to be able to sit down with the head of marketing at Target today, and they want to do a spread based on your lipstick line that you have. But I need you to be here by 2 p.m. Oh man, I don't have a car, and I don't really have no money to get on a bus, or I don't have any money for Uber right now. Can we do a Zoom? No. They want you to come into the corporate office. They want you to be on the showroom floor. They want you to present in front of all of the team members. They want to see it in person. They really want to catch the vibe. They want to meet you in person. Or no. They're having this special dinner tonight, and I got them to invite you. You really need to come. That's not something we can Zoom. You need to be present in the room, shake some hands, kiss some babies, do what you need to do. Transportation can be the difference between you getting an opportunity or you not getting an opportunity. And you need to know that you need to set it up where, even baby child, even if you ain't got a place to stay, even if you couch surfing, you need transportation. You need transportation. I almost feel like I should make transportation the second priority instead of home. You need some transportation because where's the transportation can be home. But seriously though, that transportation is key, because being able to move around and get done what you need to get done will prevent you from missing out on opportunities that are available to you. Maybe maybe you ride Uber and now you got to this event and somebody said they would take you home, but now they're talking about they're going to a separate place and their cars are already full, but this separate place, the CEO of PepsiCo is going to be over there and you'll want to link up with them, and they're like, we ain't got no room in the car, but here's the address, meet us there. All right, let me see what I can do. And the person who said they was going to take you home, they weren't invited, so they're not going. And now they getting ready to, all they got to offer you is a ride home because you live 2 blocks away from them. They're not making no extra stops because they got to relieve their babysitter at a certain time. And they got their transportation in place and got their system in place, but you don't. Even if you don't have a car, right? If you're not in a position yet to have a car and you take the bus, you take the metro, you need to get when you do your monthly budget, we're going to get to that later. Don't put $5 on your Metro card and it's like, I'm going to figure it out. You need to find out whatever the cost is for a monthly bus pass. If it's $75, then that needs to be in your budget. That instead of nickel and diming and putting $5 on it here and $10 on it there, no, a monthly bus pass is $75. That is in my budget. It is prioritized in my budget. And I'm going to pay that $75 at the top of the month before I pay for my hair to get done, my nails to get done, any of that other stuff, and make sure that I have that bus card, because if nothing else, I know I can hop on this bus or this train and get where I need to go if somebody else don't want to take me, and I can get it around. Uber has all kind of special deals. Uber One, they have Uber Flats. You can load money on your Uber card so that you don't spend it ordering Uber Eats and then don't have money to get it around in your Uber car. You can put money, you could say I got an allowance of $100 a month for transportation on Ubers. Upload that money to the actual Uber app so it's not in your account, so you don't end up spending it when you go out with the girls and y'all have lobsters and steak and you do that, and now you don't have transportation, and now you, a person who's trying to open a massage parlor, somebody tells you, oh, my homegirl is over here, we over here helping her clean out her storage, and we'll put it up, we'll get it over to you, but we need you to just pull up on us real quick and see which of the stuff you want, because she's gonna junk the rest of the stuff. Okay, baby, I got $100 on my Uber card. Boom, I'm on my way. I'll jump in the truck with y'all to bring it to my house. Pick out your little stuff. You see how transportation can affect you in so many ways? Your child gets sick at school, and now you got to go get them. The school bus is not finna bring them. How you gonna get to them? Or now something happened and your child is sick and the school is sending them to the hospital and they need you to meet the ambulance at the hospital. You need to be able to get there. And you don't need to make 10 phone calls to different various family members in that moment, in that desperate moment, and then putting people in your business that don't need to be in your business. I'm gonna talk about that in relationships. And now you ain't got no way to you see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? Transportation is key. Relationships. This is a big one. People always tell me this should be number one. They always tell me it should be number one. But I'm telling you, if you get those other 3 straight, if you got your career together, if you got your home together, and if you got your transportation together, it'll actually allow you to make better decisions in relationships, which is why it's key. Because having your own basics together, having a very clear understanding of your own basics will help it so that that you can actually make better decisions about who you get into relationships with. Because sometimes we get in relationships and it's need based. It's like, I ain't got no place to stay, and now you hobosexualing it up, and you got to crash on this person's couch, and you in this relationship because you ain't got your home situation together. Maybe you got a man who is like disrespectful and controlling of you, and you don't really want to be in this relationship, but he pays the car note and the car insurance, and right now you need that transportation to get around, and so you're not in a position to break away yet because he's going to take the car away, and you know what I'm saying? So if you get those three basic needs, fundamental needs in order, career, home, and transportation, then you can actually make decisions based on this, based on relationships that are rooted in what that relationship actually brings you as opposed to what you need in the relationship. This priority has 5 subcategories, and they are spirituality, spouse or significant other, family, BFF, and business associates. And you notice I didn't say friends, I said BFF. And that's for a reason. That is for a reason. The reason why I said BFF as opposed to friends is because we need to take more control over how much access we give to people. But let's start with the top one, spirituality. That is going to be different for everyone. Maybe you're a Christian, maybe you're a Muslim, maybe you're a Buddhist, maybe you practice Ephi. Hell, maybe you're a Satanist. I don't know. But whatever your spiritual journey is, you need to have someone in your life. First of all, you need to be in tune with that. Even if you're agnostic and you like, I believe in God, but I don't believe in religion, you need to be in tune and have an understanding for yourself what that means. Even if you're an atheist and you're like, I don't believe in anything. I don't know how in this world you can believe that, but even if you're an atheist and you're like, I don't believe in anything, then that means that your spirituality system needs to be replaced with a kindness system. How do I show up in this world in a positive way? Good vibes, basically. Then you need to have a person in your life who is a representation of that spirituality. Now, for a lot of us, that's going to be big mama, grandmama, your prayer warrior, the one that you get on the phone with, when you are in dire straits. For some people, that's going to be your pastor. For some person, that may be the mentor that you have that prays over you, that keeps you covered and protected. Whatever the case may be, you need to have a person in your mind who is a representation of your spirituality so that when you are feeling lost and empty, that is the person that you communicate with. The next is your spouse and significant other. And this one is very important because no matter how people try to slice it or phrase it, romantic love is the most effective love that you will ever experience in your life. A good partner can lift you up, a bad partner can bring you down. This is your day-to-day confidant. This is the person that's actually in the struggle with you. Let me tell you something. I have some really amazing girlfriends. I have some great people that I do business with. I have all of these things. But when I have been in romantic relationships, that is the person that knows you the best. That is the person that is in the trenches with you. That is the person that the day-to-day ills of your life, maybe you have a disagreement with your child, maybe your car broke down, maybe you got a raise and a promotion, maybe you're just feeling hungry, maybe your feet are bothering you. That person is walking and living every single experience with you. This is the person that you have to be putting your trust in because you are the most vulnerable with them, because they see everything and you can't lie to them. You might be able to lie to the world, but you can't lie to them because they know who you really are. So when you online capping like, I'm fine, life is great, but they know you just lost your job and you just had a falling out with your best friend and you were so upset when you was talking about what happened with your best friend, you just cracked your tooth. They know what's actually going on with you. They like, you can get online and tell them folks you're fine, but I know you're not fine. So let's start making these steps about how we can fix these situations, which is why you have to choose this very wisely. Very wisely. And I don't think you should make one of those silly lists like, here are the things I want in a man. He needs to be 6'3", tall, dark, handsome, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, here's the list of what I want in a woman. She needs to be thick, have a nice rump, cute in the face, own her own business. No. You need to understand what you need from somebody in terms of their character. trustworthy, respectful, not jealous of me, proud of me, on my team, able to hold themselves accountable and apologize when they're wrong, extending me some grace when I make a mistake. You need to know what kind of person you want, not what exterior artifacts they possess. Okay, they possess the height of 6'3", but they beating your tail. Okay, she the finest thing that walk in the room. She get attention every time you get all the pounds from your homeboys every time you walk in the room with her on your arm. But she disloyal. And she don't give a damn about being in public and being disrespectful. And won't even hold herself accountable when you check her on it. So you need to think about the character that you need. Because if the person possesses the character traits that you need, all the rest of it will fall in place. Even if they flat broke today, y'all working as a team, that need to be one of your priorities. I need somebody who's gonna work as a team unit with me. As a team unit, they can go from broken busted to baller and player if y'all working as a team and as a unit. The next is family. Let me be clear, just because you share blood with somebody don't mean that they your family. And just because you don't share blood with somebody don't mean that they are your family. You know, we've all heard the old saying, blood is thicker than water. But years later, somebody remixed that statement, and I like the remix version better, which is the blood of the blood the uh oh my god, now I can't remember how it's the blood of the mother is that's what it is. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. That's it. Let me say that again because I kind of botched that up a little bit and I want y'all to hear it clear. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. I like that version better because basically what it's saying is, in the sense of blood brothers, the person that I make a covenant with and we stick to that is thicker than the person that I shared the same womb with. So you might be my brother just because we grew up together and we were close and we became friends that eventually became family. And that may be thicker than the person I share the same womb with, water of that womb with, that's my sibling, my actual blood, my actual sibling. So I like that version better. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the room. Your chosen family or your blood family, they better possess the same qualities that I said of that significant other. They need to be team you, they need to be loyal, they need to be respectful. And if they can't be that, you can love them from afar. Best friend. Notice I didn't say friends, you get one. If you sat down and made a list of your friends, I promise you, is one person that stands out above all else. Is one person that's been more loyal, more respectful, shown up more. That is the person that gets unlimited, unconditional love and access in the same way that your family and your significant other and your spiritual guide does. Because far too often we have too much access and give and feel too much loyalty and allegiance to too many people. And so we are serving so many people that we are people pleasing and we are doing it to our own detriment. So part of the key is being selective about who gets that level of access, concern, care, and all of that. And if it's not one of those people, then you just can't do it. There's something called the black tax where black people get wealthy and then they feel this obligation to take care of everybody around them and they go broke. You've seen a lot of it happen to a lot of entertainers and even just regular everyday people who do well for themselves, make six figures or get a high paying job or whatever. They go broke trying to take care of everybody. And part of the reason of that is that they have given access, accessibility, all of that to too many people. So it's not that you get mad at people and be like, I'm not doing nothing for nobody else, because everybody is blah, 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 blah. No, curate the list of the people who are deserving. A lot of times when you hear people getting upset and they're like, I'm not doing anything for anybody else because nobody does anything for me, that's actually usually inaccurate. What they're usually saying is the people who I wanted to show up and do things for me are not doing it. And I know we've seen this a lot in romantic relationships, right? A person needs somebody to cover them on something, and their significant other, which is not a great significant other, doesn't do it for them. And they're like, I'm not doing nothing for anybody else because nobody does it for me. Meanwhile, they got a BFF over there who's like, but I covered you though. Did you forget about I covered you? No, say the truth. The truth is you wanted Jasmine to cover you. You wanted Tyrone to cover you, and they didn't do it. Not that nobody covers you, not that nobody cares. The person that you wanted to cover you, the person that you wanted to care, didn't do it. Business associates, make sure that you're clear that you treat them as such. It's great to have an unlimited, wealthy list of business associates that you can do business with, that you have relationships with, that you can get money with. But make sure you remember that they are business associates. They are not friends. They are not your family. They are not your BFF. Because I promise you, if any money shows up, they're going to show you that they're not your family, that you're not your BFF, that they're not your significant other, that they're not your spiritual guide, that they are your business associate. And so you need to handle them accordingly. That doesn't mean that you're not gentle, kind, friendly, and sweet. What it means is business. Handle the business. Now, a quick way for you to keep track of all of this is I'll show you what I have on my phone. I have 8 people on my phone. And what you do is you get one spot. This is the favorites on my phone, right? You get one spot for your spiritual guide. In that place for me, I have my pastor, Pastor David. It used to be my godmother who was a minister, and when she passed away, I replaced it with my pastor. You get one spot for your significant other. I don't have one of those, so that spot is empty. That's why I got 8 slots on my phone instead of 9, but you get 9. Then you get 4 slots for family. You get 4 slots for family. On mine, I have my son, I have my brother and sister, and I have my niece, Ikea. And then you get a slot for BFF. And I have my best friend, Lee. We've been friends since we were 15 years old. She is my most trusted confidant. She has been the most consistent. I'm 47 years old. She's been consistent for 32 years. And then the last 2, you get 2 key, critical, essential business associates that you do the most business with, that are most impactful on your business, and you give them 2 slots. And for me, it's my agents. It's my literary agent that handles all my book stuff, and it's my film and TV agent. And those are the people on my phone. And I need you to do the same thing on your phone. Create that favorites list, right? You create that favorites list because what it does is every time you need help with something, you know exactly who to go to. That way you keep extra drama out of your life because you are not entering people into conversations that they should not be entered into. What do I mean by that? You're having a bad day. A lot has happened. Your bank account is low. You had a fight with your significant other. Your boss disrespected you. You just need to vent to somebody and get it out of your system. You're going to call your BFF. Another alternative on that list might be calling a trusted family member. For me, a lot of times it's my sister, Gigi. Or if you don't just want to expound upon your business and tell all your business, but you just need somebody to calm you down and get you in a more centered Zen space, then you're going to call your spiritual guide. But guess who you're not going to call? You're not going to call your business associates because you're not going to confuse that relationship that is a business relationship with a personal relationship. That person is a business associate. 48 laws of power. You don't give them insight into your weak spots because the relationship is a business relationship. Also, you don't taint the way that they view you because it happens to them unconsciously, whether they realize it or not. You don't call them when you're in a bad mood, yelling and screaming and feeling unhinged. Somebody that you're doing business with, that's not their place. However, if you get a deal on the table and you get an offer, and your lawyer is one of your nine phone calls, then you're gonna pick up the phone and you're gonna call your lawyer. You're not gonna call and get advice from your brother who ain't never ran a business. That's not his place. That's why it's key to know what each slot means. Your auntie, your favorite auntie, is now on hospice, and the family got to make a decision, and you need prayer. You're gonna pick up the phone and call that spiritual guide. Something that is affecting what's going on in your house, some house business. You're gonna pick up the phone and call that spouse or that significant other, because you don't need to put any other of these people in your house business. So this is also a tool and a tactic to make you function respectfully with the 9 people on the list. You don't call no business associate and vent about something that's going on in your house. And then the next time y'all at a function, your business associate is looking at your significant other sideways. And maybe that day your husband or your wife did something bad with some money, but that's not their norm. They was just having an off day and they didn't realize it, and y'all fixed it. But now there's somebody they want to do business within that room with your business associate, and now you've told your business associate that they did something bad with the money. So then they're going to pull that person's coattail and be like, nah, you might not want to do that because his wife told me, he fuck up money. You do this list to control the human instinct to relieve stress and pain, to talk, to be celebrated, to be all of that, by having this system so that you are disclosing the right information to the right people. And some of y'all are like, well, I don't need nobody. I'm doing it on my own. Just cut that out. That's not real. That's your hurt and your childhood trauma that you need to deal with talking. All of the we came here by ourselves, so we're going to leave here by ourselves, people. Cut it out. You did not come here by yourself. You literally came here attached to your mother. You were attached to her by an umbilical cord. You ate what she ate. You drank what she drank. They had to literally cut you away from her to get you out of there. So you did not come here by yourself. You came here literally attached to somebody, and you came here literally attached to somebody because 2 people, your mother and your father, had an intimate connection that created you. So we're not designed to walk this life alone. So stop letting your hurt tell you that. That's silly. It's childish. Grow up. Get some emotional intelligence. Finances. Finances impact everything. How does money affect your relationships? Well, have you ever yelled at your child for telling you at the last minute about something he needs, when the truth is you are just frustrated because getting what he needs will put a financial strain on you? You understand that a 10-year-old forgets sometimes, but now you find yourself chastising your child. I said earlier, it's expensive to be sick. You need insurances to cover your sickness because you got to pay for it lock, stock, smoke, and barrel on your own. Woo child, woo child, woo child. It's going to be rough. It's going to be super rough. Here's one of the quickest tips I can give you on handling. I'll tell you how to make more money and how to handle the finances that you already have. Let's start with how you handle the finances that you already have. You need several accounts, and all of these accounts don't need to be with the same bank. You need one bank that is your primary central bank. And at that bank, you are going to have a checking account, and you're going to have 3 savings accounts attached to that bank, right? So the checking account is going to be your master operating account in which all the other money flows from. Then you're going to have 3 savings accounts. And now on apps and stuff like that, it allows you to label the savings accounts, give them like a sub name. So those 3 sub accounts are going to be vacation, emergency, and general savings. General savings you will never touch. You won't touch that until you retire. That is part of your retirement plan. You will never touch general savings. You're like, Kim, what if I have an emergency? You heard what I said. Vacation, emergency, general savings. General savings is money that you just sit on. You only move that general savings if it's a down payment for a home, if you are now retired and you're living off of it, or if you're using it to invest in a business. That's the only time you'll touch that general savings. You will never touch it ever again. You have your emergency account, which you put money in strictly for emergencies. The car breaks down and you got to get a new carburetor. Um, the water heater goes out in your home. Those are emergencies. The money for that will come from the emergency account. And then there's your vacation account because you deserve a break. You deserve to turn up, get some beach and some sun. So that first primary bank that you have is going to have your checking account, which is going to be your master account. And then you're going to have 3 savings account: emergency, vacation, and general savings. You are going to have a set amount that's going to auto transfer out of every paycheck into those 3. So you're going to do your budget. So the first thing is you can't make any financial decisions unless you have a budget. If you are operating without a budget, that is your 101. That is your base level. That's your ground. That's the first thing you need to do is get a budget together, right? So then you are going to set a specific amount of money that is going to transfer every month from that. You're going to have your bill set on auto pay so you don't miss nothing, because missed payments affect your credit. And you want to have good debt, right? So you're going to have a set amount in your budget that's going to auto transfer to those 3 accounts. Now, separately at a whole nother bank, this is not going to be at this bank because you don't want this transfer to be able to be easily made. You want this transfer to be a little bit more complicated. At a whole separate bank, you're going to have a fund account. Now, you can set transfers to go to an exterior bank. So if Bank of America is your primary operating account, you can get a Chase account or a Navy Federal or something, and you can set that Bank of America to do an auto transfer to that exterior bank. But unlike on the app with all those savings accounts and stuff, like if there's an emergency and I need to get the carburetor today, I'll be able to just go into the app and transfer the money from the emergency account to my primary account so I can pay for the carburetor. You don't want to do that with the fund account because the fund account can't be that accessible to you for the transfer money. You decide you need some more turn up, and now you can transfer some more money. No, we're not doing that. The fund account is also a number that's going to be a line item in your general budget that you do, and you can do it in Google Docs, spreadsheets, or whatever like that. Every month you're going to have a certain amount of money for fun. When that money is gone, there's no more fun for you, beloved. So going out to dinner with friends, going to the club, buying some new jewelry or whatever. And I wouldn't put hair and nails and stuff like that in that because that's your maintenance and that should be in your budget. I wouldn't even put clothing in that because you should give yourself a monthly clothing allowance if you're a person who knows you like to shop every month. But we're talking about strictly fun. Me and my friends, we're going out to eat out. Because you're in your budget, your food budget is going to be based on groceries, not eating out. It's going to be based on groceries because eating out is a luxury. You're going to have a number in your budget that's going to be about groceries. Eating at restaurants and stuff like that is going to come out of your fun money. So let's say it's November 23rd and you have spent you put $300 a month in your fund account. You spent all your money and your friends like, we going to brunch tomorrow. You're going to be like, first of all, you are going to be open and transparent with them because you're also going to be doing them a service by teaching them a financial lesson when you tell them this. Y'all know I allot myself a certain amount of money. You ain't got to tell them all your business. I allot myself a certain amount of money every month for fun. I'm very disciplined about it. I exhausted my fun account yesterday. So unfortunately for me, I don't have money for going out to brunch. Now, if one of you would like to spot me and buy me brunch tomorrow, I'm happy to go. But I have no more fun money left. So I'm going to catch y'all next time. Discipline. Financial discipline is key. Home ownership. People tell y'all that this is part of your finances. People tell you that home ownership is the greatest way to build wealth. It is, but it's not always good debt because it's not debt that's generating money. So that first home that you buy, when you get ready to buy your second home, you should put yourself in a position not where you sell that house to buy this house. But what you do is you use this house to fund that house. See what I'm saying? Y'all need to be putting solar panels on your roofs so that 1, you're not paying electric bill. And 2, the power companies will buy electricity from you if you have solar panels. So not only will you now have no bill to pay to power your house, but you're actually now selling power to the power company which will go ahead and take care of your mortgage at this house. So now that house over there is being paid for by the tenant, lock, stock, and smoking barrel, and you getting a little money off of that. This house is being paid for by your solar panels. So you own two pieces of real estate, which is good debt. It ain't costing you shit. This is the level of savvy we need to get with our finances. So buy some financial books, watch some finance videos, get masterclass, watch some finance, get your finances together, because we are definitely coming to a place where there's no longer a middle class. There's the haves and the have-nots. So to be considered in different states, in the top 1%, it varies, but it's somewhere between making $250,000 and $400,000 a year based on what state you live in. See, you thought to be in a 1%, you had to have $100 million. You don't. You just have to have several $100,000, but you could have several $100,000 if you utilize real estate. Health and beauty. This priority is all about your body. Are you eating well, exercising? Health and beauty is about the obvious stuff, but it's also about making sure you have health insurance and making sure you look and feel fly. Your appearance is an expression of your personality, and self-expression is important. When you walk into a room, the first thing that you're giving them is your face card, your style, your all of that. Now, I know a lot of people believe in that. It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. It does matter. It does matter. And it doesn't matter in the sense of like you have to do this, but it does matter in the sense of like whatever you're doing is a representation of who you are, and it's going to be difficult to get people past that. So some people say, oh, you got a lot of hip hop moguls who wear sneakers and streetwear when they go into meetings. Yes, because they're a hip hop star, and that's what people expect to see when they walk into a room. It's a representation of their craft in hip hop, in the street business, in trap music. So no, they ain't required to wear a suit. But if you're a goddamn accountant, you are. It's funny, I just had an interesting conversation with my brother this morning who is in his late 50s. And I said, if there's one thing that you could teach me, like what would it be? And he said that the only thing that matters in the end as you get older is your health. Because people are like, oh, we're all gonna die someday. It's true, but how are you going to die? Yeah, we all gonna die someday. But do you lay down and die in your sleep and you still got your mind, your body, your agility, you all of that? Or are you not having your full lived whole experience in this life because you won't listen to the doctors when they're telling what to do to be in better health? So now you're missing out on the fun. You can't run around on the beach with your grandkids when you get them because you have done such a disservice to your body that you don't have the ability to do that because you have every disease known to man. Your nerves is bad. Your this is bad. Your that is bad. So all you can do is sit in the lounge chair from a distance and say, run around, little Timmy, instead of being able to be out there running around with little Timmy. So it's not about, oh, I'm going to die someday or something. It's about what quality of life do you want to have? And your health affects your ability to have the quality of life. So take care of yourself. Hobby. The point of a hobby is for you to have something that you enjoy doing that takes your mind away from day-to-day bustle of the world. It can be anything: collecting stamps, knitting, travel. Some people are great musicians and they just want to play in a cafe on Saturday nights to heal their soul, but they love their day job as an accountant, so that's their hobby. The hobby is key. And here's the other thing. The hobby is also helpful and healthy for your romantic relationship because it gives you a reason to get out of the house so y'all can get off each other's nerves and spare each other a break. If you love roller skating and you go roller skating every Sunday night, that gives your spouse some reprieve. Maybe you don't like all the damn Lifetime movies that she watches. Okay, cool. When you go out to skate on Sunday night in Atlanta at Cascade or wherever you are, in Chicago at the rink on 87th Street or wherever you are, when you go out and skate on Sunday nights, this is how you can keep confusion down in your house, right? When you go out to skate on Sunday night, then she know that's the perfect time for her to watch her Lifetime movies. If you have a hobby of knitting, when you have a bad day, you will come home you know what your hobby is, you love knitting, you're gonna have your knitting basket with all of your stuff. That's gonna make you have some more patience with your kids, because now you had a bad day. You sit on the couch, you get your knitting needles, you start making your knitting, you start doing your knitting, and it's calming you down. That hobby may make around and make you a bag. Maybe you bedazzle cups and you love bedazzling cups. Now I bought this off of Amazon. Nobody bedazzled it, but maybe there's somebody who this is what they do. They love bedazzling cups. It's their hobby. They enjoy it. They ain't trying to get no money off of it. It's just a good thing they do because they like it, and they give them as gifts to all their friends and families. Every year, you can count on that person to give you a bedazzled cup. Mess around and your cousin, who's a background dancer for Beyonce, is in rehearsal with her bedazzled cup, and Beyonce said, "Ooh, girl, where you get that cup from? I want one." "Oh, my cousin make these. I'll get her to make you one. You want me to have her make you one and say Renaissance tour on it?" Yeah, give me one." The next thing you know is a picture of Beyonce like this, and you got 800 orders on your damn website. But the hobby also really is not about that. It's just about having something that belongs to you, having something that makes you feel good, having something that allows you to experience joy. Black people especially experience so much trauma. Find ways to experience joy. And that's what your hobby can do for you. Education. Education is not just academic education in school. Academic education may be an important part of you getting ahead or realizing your dreams. Go for it. But as I said earlier, self-education is also important. Real education, regardless of where you get it, makes you better at understanding the world you live in and understanding yourself in the world. It gives you discernment so you don't just fall for any other thing. I was just talking about that career-wise. Like, you should study it. And you should not just study it. People always want to go strictly and directly to the negative. It's like, you should not just study it so you don't get screwed over. You should study it so you don't get on your own way, because you're not understanding the business that you're in. You may be defensive about something you don't need to be defensive about. You may have an opportunity that you screw up just because you don't know how the business works and it doesn't sound right to you. Well, it doesn't sound right to you because you haven't done the basic education to understand what you're doing and what you're doing. Also, we have far too long celebrated in this country ignorance and making it uncool to be smart. We need to make smart sexy again. Because at the end of the day, the powers that be, they don't want you to be smart. Because if you get smart enough, you start paying attention to what it is that they're doing, and then you start working on your own behalf instead of your own detriment, which is what they do by programming you with the tell lie vision and now the social fool media. You will have if you're an educated and learned person, you'll be able to distinguish between what is conspiracy theory, tomfoolery, and truth. And you won't even engage in things that are intellectually beneath you, because you are a person who is learning. So your spirit will be drawn to learning things that elevate, not destroy. And you don't want to fill your mind with muck. Education also makes you a valuable person and an asset in the room. Because like I said, education can be literal education, getting your master's degree, your MBA, being a master, your doctorate, all of that. But it can also be studying trends. You know what I'm saying? If you work in marketing and you study the hell out of social media to understand those trends, and you're a younger person and you're in a room with all these marketing gurus who have been doing all of these systems that have been working for them for 30 years, and you're sitting back and you're learning from them, when they get to social media and you're able to just spout off what you know and be an asset in the room, that's how you grow and develop. So education is key. Last one, community. Do something for somebody else, period. Volunteer. There are lots of people doing good work that can benefit from your money or need you to volunteer to help in any way you can. Volunteer at your child's school. Do some volunteer work through your faith organization. But I tell you, it is the best way to let God know that you are doing his work by not just serving yourself, but also serving his people. And I promise you, people have said that I'm a people pleaser, that I give too much, all of this. But I'm telling you, I've never been in that ninth hour that needed anything and it didn't show up. And that's because I give to so many people. That if I am the rock that cries out for help, there is an army of people who want to show up and assist me because they know the love, care, and concern that I have showcased towards the community. And nobody, I ain't gonna say nobody, it's some people, but many people don't want to see me fail or fall. And so you don't do community work because you want something given back to you. You want it to be reciprocated. You do it because you have a passion and a love for people. And you remember the moments where you needed some help and you wish that somebody had showed up for you, and you prevent somebody else from feeling that same way. And I promise you, when you do community work, whether it's volunteering at your son's school, whether it's marching for the death of someone who was unalived by the police, whether it's putting a little library out in front of your neighborhood so kids can get free books, whether it's volunteering at the old folks home, whether it's lobbying for social justice change at the political level, whether it's creating a March of Dime team so that you walk and raise money for March of Dimes for for premature born babies. Whatever it is that you do, I promise you, you will feel better. Your soul will be lifted from the work that you do. So that is the end of my lecture. Those are the 9 priorities for a balanced life. I'm just going to go back through them real quick so y'all can write them down. They are community, education, hobby, health and beauty, finances, relationships, transportation, home, career. Again, each of these areas is an important aspect of your life. And what I've found is that when I'm feeling empty or lost or confused, if I write down these 9 priorities and I investigate where I'm feeling weak or strong in each category, I can see where I'm out of balance. So it's a planning tool that shows you how to move forward in your life, but it also works to diagnose what's out of whack and where you're not taking care of yourself. I love y'all, not because of what you have, but because of who you are. Literature is the DNA of a culture. When you want to know what happened during an era, you look to the word, whether that word is a book or a song.
I promise you, we as a people will get there.
Or a film or a poem. You look to the word. I mean, we still look into the word of books that are millennial old, that are thousands and thousands of years old. And so it's like, it's a time capsule.
In a world where creativity meets the digital age, one agency stands out from the rest. Welcome to Delphine Legacy Media. We are a team of passionate experts and creatives dedicated to elevating your brand to new heights.
I learned so much today. It was really inspiring hearing everyone speak about all their different experiences and getting together like authors and screenwriters. And I learned a lot from this.
Their creativity and expertise are second to none. But what sets us apart? We tailor our services to fit your unique needs. Whether you're an author, a business owner, or an artist, our services include interviews, media tours, book tours, and speaking engagements, all designed to put your brand in the spotlight. Are you an artist that seeks to obtain more media, headline your own book tour, or adapt a film? Or perhaps you need media training to best prepare yourself? Whatever it may be, we can manage it. Picture your brand in the limelight. Picture your brand in the limelight. Your vision realized. At Delphine Legacy Media, we're partners in your success. Ready to take your brand to the next level? Contact us today. Delphine Legacy Media, where creativity meets success.